Neither one of us could wait for the second date. She had this whole thing of this book she had read about how you're supposed to date 3 people at a time. That way you don't get emotionally attached to any one. You can truly pick. But 3 weeks in, 4 weeks in, she's kind of like
2 weeks.
2 weeks. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that anymore. I just want to see how it works with you.
Than I've ever had. Make it all better when I'm feeling sad. Tell me that I'm special even when I know I'm not. Make it feel good when it hurts so bad. Barely getting mad. I'm so glad I found you.
We met online?
eHarmony, of course. We met online.
He poked me, and at first I didn't respond at all.
We were kind of matched together. It showed up in our profiles that, hey, this is a possible match for you. And I saw her picture and I'm like, oh yeah.
His picture was ridiculous.
I have this picture of me in a rock revival shirt. So, you know, it's all blinged out.
And I thought, no.
I wanted to show that I was a fun guy.
And he was holding this ridiculous flask.
It's stainless steel that says, party like a rock star.
I did not respond to him at all.
And I'm holding it loud and proud because I'm like, oh yeah.
That said party time or something on it. I don't know what it was.
Party like a rock star.
Clearly was like he was too much of a party animal for me, and I did not respond.
Crickets, nothing. Nothing at all. But she hadn't said no.
It was about 2 or 3 weeks later. He showed up again. He put a new profile picture on.
I started going through my pictures with me and the beard, and I put them out there on eHarmony.
He had a beard. He didn't have that silly flask.
Because she hadn't deleted me yet from her profile, it showed up that I had changed, you know, just like Facebook, you know, kind of says, hey, so-and-so put a new picture up.
He looked gorgeous.
She kind of reached out to me. She's like, hey, let's just start texting with me.
He matured.
Okay, all right. This is going well. Things are going good here.
But he was happy. You know, he was joyful and happy. And so I responded.
So we both exchanged phone numbers and we just started texting. We were having these fantastic texts.
We were communicating great by text.
Then I had to go to an annual sales kickoff conference in San Francisco, which means for me that from pretty much from 7 a.m. till 11 p.m., midnight, I'm busy. I got things to do.
And then all of a sudden, there were no texts. All of a sudden, he just was invisible for a few days.
I'm working my job. I'm doing my job.
It was right at a point where it was really like, okay, we should, you know, meet. And then there was 4 or 5 days where I didn't hear a thing.
I don't have time for eHarmony.
And I thought, no. So I sent him an email through the system saying, you know, I wish you all the best, but this doesn't feel good to me.
When I got back, it was kind of like, hey, I'm back. You know, it's like, man, it was a great conference, had a good time, but, you know, how you been? And crickets again. I'm just like, what?
So I cut it off before we had even met.
Damn crickets.
And he started texting, no, please.
No.
I've been out of town. I've been at this conference.
Give me one more chance.
I had no time.
Just one. I tried to explain to her, it's like, look, this is what happened.
Blah, 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 blah.
Well, maybe I'll buy that.
And it took him 3 or 4 texts before I finally caved, and we decided to go ahead and meet.
The conversation, it just flowed. We went to McCormick and Schmidt's having an honest conversation and just connecting on a level that is ethereal.
You know, he picked me up in this souped up pickup truck.
35s, raised lift kit, has lights on the top.
And I was thinking, oh my gosh.
Has flames, a roll bar, the light bar.
I thought, well, you know.
And the conversation just flowed. It seemed like we'd known each other a lifetime, when in fact we just met. First time we'd seen each other face to face.
I just dove in and enjoyed our time together very much.
I just haven't met you yet.
He said on like our second date, he laid it out there. He said,
these are things that I see that are deal breakers.
I cuss like a sailor because I was one.
Her eyes are just kind of like,
And I thought that was just a cute thing to say, but it apparently was really true.
That big around.
First, I was already goo-goo gaga on the second date, and so I thought it was just a cute thing for him to say. But then I realized He really does cuss.
And then we got to Thanksgiving.
Cussing in front of a family member or a friend.
When I'm just like biting my tongue because it's kind of like, I just want to say, F that. It's like, what do you mean? What the?
He knows I don't like it. I'm not used to it.
My normal language.
I'm not used to it.
Anybody who knows me knows that the F word is a descriptive adjective.
And then to be around a man that just says it as its normal conversation.
Party's good. An effing good party was, oh yeah.
It's just other words that don't mean anything, but to me those words mean something very different.
Cursing doesn't necessarily always mean a negative thing.
With Jim, within like the first 3 months of our dating, he was ready to move in and like, this is it. And I was like, hold on, buddy.
The chemistry, I just knew. But, she's acting like she's somebody who's 19. Oh yeah, we're gonna start dating, and 3 or 4 years down the road, we'll think about getting married. And I'm like, wait a minute. Ooh. Time out.
I mean, I'm not used to that.
I don't know about you, but I'm over 50.
We continued to date and talk about a future together, and I bought a new house with in mind that maybe this would be our home together down the road.
I knew what I wanted. I mean, that's why it was so quick. 2 weeks, and I said, I love you.
We were discussing a life together, and then he started not really talking about it.
I stopped talking because I didn't want to give it away.
And I thought, he's decided maybe he doesn't want a future together.
Our anniversary is coming up on January 30th. So we're going to do a really, really nice dinner at Tony's. And then I was going to take her over to the water wall and get her all mesmerized by the water wall, get her mind on something else.
We went out to dinner and he was so nervous as we were preparing to go to the dinner.
I'm not a nervous person. But I was nervous.
We went there and we had such a great time.
I practiced my spiel over and over and over and over again. I had my speech down. I was just like, oh yeah, I got this.
And had the 5 courses and we're just having a great time, and it was coffee, about time ready to go. And
I found out the day of that the water wall closes at 9 p.m. And I'm looking at my watch, and I don't want to kill the vibe at dinner because we're just having a great dinner. She's loving it.
I have no clue, so he did it very old school, which I just love.
I'm looking at my watch going, we're not going to make it. So it's plan B.
And all of a sudden, I see something sparkly on the side, and he starts talking about a life together.
She went into this other dimension, not of this world.
And I see the sparkly thing, I'm just so surprised, and I just cover my...
I had this whole speech rehearsed thinking that she would be looking at the ring and kind of like looking at me, and instead she did this.
And I couldn't even really hear what he said.
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
I had to ask him for 2 or 3 days afterwards, did you even propose to me? I don't even remember what you said.
She didn't hear anything I said, which is good, because she threw me so off my game that I'm just like, it was just butchered.
I loved it, how surprised I was, because I really didn't know. I have no idea when I would be ready for this. If I'd be ready in a year or 2 years. He says, it's okay, baby. He says, it's okay. Whenever is fine, but I just want to know that you want to be with me.
So at first she said yes. So the answer at Tony's was yes. Okay. Everything was ecstatic. Everything was good. The next day,
I had to tell him the next day. I had to call him up and say, I really need to change my answer to maybe, because I really don't know.
Fear, doubt, and worry crept in.
He had been thinking and planning and being clear, and I needed a little time, and he was so awesome.
She started second guessing everything. You can say no at any time. You can change your answer at any time.
And for 2 weeks, I just thought about it, and the worst thing was talking to people, asking their opinions.
I was real quick to get from point A to point B. She wasn't.
He picked me up from the airport coming back from Los Angeles, and it was a late Sunday evening, and we drove to the only restaurant that was open in town.
So we're sitting there having dinner, and I'm just not really, and she's like, oh, by the way,
I decided I really want to get married to you. He goes,
drop my fork. It's like, what?
He jumped up, he was so excited, and he grabbed me in his arms. And he swung me around this
You
restaurant.
just can't even understand how excited I was. So
Don't ask for opinions. Do not ask for opinions.
Only one way to say those 3 words. That's what I'll do.
What blows me away time and time again is his ability to listen to my feelings and to just be with whatever those are and know that healing takes place when you just love and listen to one another.
she is the yang to my yin. Where we are different, and there are many, we absolutely complement each other 100%. So it completes the circle.
He is strong in body, mind, and spirit. And his capacity to love and contribute and grow is unmeasured.
It's the reciprocation of the honesty and the openness.
Am I scared? I'm very scared. Just because it's launching into the unknown and taking on a new adventure. So there's been fear there, but there's been much more sense of goodness and possibility.
So many times in our relationship, she's just opened my eyes to things that I didn't see clearly.
I feel like I'm able to be myself. I'm different than him, but he's not trying to make me be different than I am.
I'm going to quote my daughter because my daughter said it best. I may have met somebody that I'm in love with. And my daughter came back to me immediately and said, Dad, I've never met anybody that completes you and completes you. And that's all you got to say, right?
I love
My view was that I wanted to portray a fun-loving guy. Her view on it was, it's like, oh my gosh, this is Alki. It's
Until you grew this beautiful beard.
But the beard is it. The beard is it. Grow a beard, guys.
Grow
a beard. And then don't color it. The gray is cool.
The gray is cool.
Ladies like the gray.
I do. So we were going up the escalator. I was in front, and so I was higher, and I leaned down and kissed him.
So she's the aggressor here.
Absolutely.